Hello and welcome back to another video. So we are now here getting towards the end of March and it's time to do our first planting of the year. So today got a lot of stuff to do. We have these potato beds down here which need to get a top up with some of the compost and stuff. So we'll be doing that today. So here we go, we've topped up these potato beds now with some fresh compost. Gave them a bit more height in there. The soil, again, it's fresh compost. It says the pH of the soil in there is between 5 and 6. The pH levels in this soil were a little bit high, so hopefully the fresh compost being thrown in, mixed in with the old soil, will help reduce the pH rate a little bit, and then we're ready to get the potatoes in. One thing I did do yesterday was turn the soil over, and I actually found some leftover potatoes from previous harvests that we never dug out the ground. So this one's got a little bit of a growth on it and start to sprout a little bit. But yeah, these are first earlies from previous years. Hopefully we get a good batch this year. Did you remember the last video I made towards the end of January, early February? I mentioned we were going to be chitting the potatoes to give them a head start. Well, these have been in the window for about 8 weeks now. So yeah, as you can see, we've got some really good growth on the potato here. So what we want to do now, we have this, is with the potato beds that are behind me, we want to plant this facing up, and this should give it a good head start when it comes to growing and going through the soil. And there we have it, all the potatoes are in. We still have a few left over that we've not planted, but pretty much everything is in. What I'm going to do lastly now is just give each little potato grow bag a bit more topsoil, and then we'll pop in the fertilizer. So the last step of getting the potatoes in is adding in a little bit of fertilizer. So for all the plants this year, whether it be the seeds we're going to put in the greenhouse or the potatoes behind us, we're going to be using this blood and bone mix. I have used this before, fish blood and bone mix in previous attempts when I've grown potatoes, and always got a decent harvest out of it. From the 4 bags there, generally get about 130 to 150 spuds out of each. So yeah, a fresh brand new box of fish blood and bone mix. What we'll do is we'll get this onto the topsoil and then water the fertilizer in, and that'll be the potatoes planted for this year. And this is what the soil looks like after we've added the blood and bone mix to the top. You can see where the fertilizer is. What we'll do now, just watering can, water it in, give the soil a good water, new compost, and that should be done. So that's the last step of the potatoes, all done. They're all in now for the year. They're all fertilized. We do need to add another application of fertilizer, probably about midway through, so it takes 90 days, so about 45 days time. Mid-May, maybe a little bit sooner, maybe even beginning of May, something like that, we'd add a second top up of fertilizer. So now that job is done, the next step is to start getting in the actual vegetables for the greenhouse now and getting them seeds started. So these are our starting seeds for the year, which we're going to be getting in the greenhouse in a moment. So we're going to be putting in some coriander, the tomatoes, spring onions, mint, and the rocket. It feels like an absolute age since when I got these. I think it was January, and they've been in my room ever since, waiting to be planted out. Same with these seed trays. Actually, we do have a few old seed trays in the greenhouse, but I thought we'd just get all new stuff for this year. So what we'll do is we'll fill up these seed trays and get these on the shelves. Another more recent purchase in the greenhouse is a little thermometer there, and you can see it's quite warm in here, even with the plastic sheeting. 32 degrees at the moment. When the sun's, it's starting to get into shade now, but when the sun is on this in the morning, I've seen it go as high as into the 40s. So I've filled up the seed tray now with compost. We're about to get our first seeds, and we actually have a lot of coriander seeds. I'm probably only going to do about 2 rows, really. I don't think we need that many coriander seeds. There's probably 40 seeds there, 50 seeds, so we're not going to use all of them. So I'll probably do about 2 rows, these first 2 rows here of coriander. And here we have The seed tray is full. We just need to put the seeds down. So we've actually done 3 rows of the coriander, and then we've not been as careful with tomato seeds because they're very fine and difficult to get out one by one. But the last 2 rows here are tomato seeds, so hopefully we do get some tomato plants and some decent coriander plants from this. So I'm going to push the seeds down into the soil, and then here I have a little Lucasade bottle which are filled with water, which I'm just going to use to help water the seeds in, and this will be then all planted. And that is the first tray in. I've added a few labels just so I remember basically what's in each tray, because otherwise I'll forget. So we've got 3 rows of coriander and 2 rows of tomatoes. So we've got 3 more packs to go. We'll get them in. The mint seeds, which is going to go into this tray. We've got another tray ready. This one's probably just going to be rocket and mint. These mint seeds are so small, so we're not going to get 1 per container just because of the size of them, but we'll try and spread out. I'm thinking 2 rows of mint and the rest of this cells being a rocket. So these are our last seeds that we need to get in, which is the spring onions. I think we're just going to do 4 rows, because with the spring onions you want to kind of lump the seeds together. And as I said, I've grown spring onions before and they've turned out really well, so I've got high hopes for these coming out well in the future. So we'll get these planted and that'll be it for getting everything in. There are a few seeds that we've not got around to planting today. We've still got the Brussels sprouts that we do need to plant. Looking at these can be sowed outside from April, which is only about a week away. May or June. I'll probably be closer to May, a couple of months time, before we get these out, and we'll be putting these straight into the soil in whichever bed they end up going in. Same for the corn as well. The corn, really we could get them started in the greenhouse as well. I'm not going to. I'm just going to plant these directly out and see what happens with the sweet corn. So there we have it. Everything is now in the little polytunnel. You can see the temperature's dropped dramatically. It's only 21, 22 in there now, as it's in shade as the sun moves past, but that'll get better as we move later into the year. Got some 3 seed trays down at the bottom. We've still got loads of room in here, so what we'll do is, obviously as some of these plants start to mature and come up, we'll move the best ones into these pots here and spread it out, and then eventually into a final resting place and they're ready to be planted out. So before we can even start with the corn anyway, the corn is going to go in this area. We do need to sort out these strawberry plants. So when this area here started, obviously it's a bit of a mess at the moment. It's got grass and weeds in it, but this area started with 4 strawberry plants that I got from B&Q for like 10 quid, maybe even less. And now we have pretty much strawberries, some which have been hit by pests, as you can see on the leaves who have been eaten, but strawberries just basically all along this area, all the way down. Unfortunately, even along here as well, on the wall, you can see where the strawberry runners have come out. But the issue where they've been, though, is a lot of the strawberries they do produce tend to just get eaten by pests or insects because they're so low to the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to be getting some pots and maybe around here putting a strawberry tower in, and digging out some of these strawberry plants that are established and moving them. And then once we've done that, we can then think about getting the rest of this tidy and then sorting out the corn and everything there. Just having a look as well at these little bird feeders that we got back in January. As you remember that video, and it's doesn't look like we've had much interest in them as of now. They're still, I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera, still pretty full. So we'll see if we actually do get some birds eventually going after the bird feeder. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. We've got a lot done today in terms of sorting out the potatoes, getting them all planted, starting off all the rest of the seeds that we're going to be doing this year. Well, the majority of them anyway. As I said, we still got the corn and the sprouts to do later on in the year. Maybe some other stuff as well. We still have room in the greenhouse, so get some more planting going. I think the next stage now, probably next week, is sorting out the strawberries, getting that in, and then moving the strawberries from that bed into the new bed. But for now, if you've enjoyed the video, make sure to click the like button, and I'll see you next time.